Hey, what's up guys? Dave from Icon Gym, and I'm the owner here, and what I want to talk to you guys today about is stress. And stress is one of those things that everybody has. It's unavoidable, right? We just have to try to manage it. Literally, it doesn't just come from training in the gym. It comes from a variety of things, which I'll get into in a second. But the main thing is stress basically all starts off with what's called our autonomic nervous system, and broken down into two different parts. All right, you have the parasympathetic, which is rest and digest, and the sympathetic, which is fight or flight. Now, what do you think most people nowadays in America, with our society being always on our phones and driving to work and all these things, what do you think which one of those are most people on? Most people are sympathetic dominant, sympathetic nervous system. And what happens when you are sympathetically driven? Well, stress is obviously very high. Your stress hormones are very high, and what happens is we need to be in a balance for kind of to have give our body the best result possible, in a sense. Now, what I mean by that is sometimes we need to be in a sympathetic state, like a stressful state. When we're training, that is a good time to be in a stressful state. We're stressing our body out. After we get out of the gym though, we do not want to be in a sympathetic state anymore. We want to be chill. We want to be like resting and digesting, parasympathetic state. So what do you do when you usually get out of the gym? When you go home, you're gonna eat a really, really good quality meal, right? So when you eat a really quality meal, you want to be in a parasympathetic state simply because you want more blood flow to digestion. If you're in a sympathetic state and you're always stressed out, what's going to happen is your body is sending blood flow to, your extremities and all these other places that need to survive, or because your body literally thinks it's being chased by a tiger. All right. So another thing with being in a sympathetic state all the time, you got to understand that you're going to deplete your nutrients. Okay, so I understand even if you're eating healthy, we talked about eating clean and all that stuff as well, eating chicken breasts, greens, all that stuff, but you have to understand that your body is going to take away key nutrients the more stressed out you are. Okay, so if you are training, let's say 6 times a week, 7 times a week, and you are also stressed out outside of the gym, your body will be pulling from things like B vitamins, magnesium, vitamin C. Magnesium is one of the most critical minerals in the body, and it is used for over 300 different chemical reactions in our body, including blood sugar. It's an electrolyte by itself. So many different things magnesium is used for, and magnesium is actually depleted immediately when we get stressed out. So it's not going to be depending on your nutrient status. And if you're actually taking in magnesium, which a lot of people aren't taking in magnesium, 75% of the population is magnesium deficient. So think about it this way. If you're magnesium deficient already and you're getting stressed out constantly, you're just digging yourself deeper and deeper into a hole. It's like kind of like, I like to say it's kind of like taking out a loan, right? So if you continually take out loans and you're stressing yourself out, you're taking out a loan, what's going to happen is ultimately you're just going to be paying interest at some point, like very, very, very high interest, all right, on your health. All right, so if you aren't putting these nutrients back in with food or supplements, that's an issue. All right, so B vitamins, when those are depleted, that's going to just tank your energy. Okay, so B vitamins are responsible for, look at your body, look at your energy production as kind of like a water wheel, right? And on that water wheel, you have all these B vitamins, okay? So we get some B vitamins from our food, like proteins and things like that, but also a lot of times, because of the world we live in today, we need to supplement with these things, okay? So if you have B vitamins, that's going to allow you to keep that water wheel spinning. It's going to allow you to create more energy. It's going to allow you to have more energy overall. Problem is, a lot of people just aren't taking B vitamins, and if you're a vegetarian or vegan, you really need B vitamins because you're not eating protein, and a lot of the protein has B vitamins in it. So that's kind of going along with like what stress does to your nutrients and everything like that. Some things to consider, okay? Also, some things to consider, some key health markers you want to really take into consideration when you're managing stress, okay? So we talk about this stuff to clients here at Icon Gym all the time. Morning heart rate. So morning heart rate, taking that immediately when you wake up in the morning. Okay, you want your morning heart rate relatively to be anywhere from 50 to 55 beats per minute. Now you want to do this right when you wake up, get out of bed. Try to wake up without an alarm clock one day and just see what it is. Okay, it's good to track anywhere from 2 to 3 times during the week, I feel like, just to get a good range of where you're at. Now, problem is if your waking heart rate is like in the 80s, that is an issue, all right? Even the 70s. I mean, low 60s, you're going to find some people just chronically stick in the low 60s no matter what they do, and that's okay. You just don't want it to be like way, way, way high, because basically what that is your body's way of telling you that you may be pretty stressed out, or you're just very aerobically deconditioned, all right? So the better you're able to get more oxygen into the body, hence cardiovascular aerobic training, the better you're going to be able to pump more blood like in and out of the heart, so the heart can work more efficiently, okay? And you're gonna bring that resting heart rate down. So essentially, it's when you do get stressed outside of the gym even, you're gonna handle things a lot better, okay? So it's gonna be much more efficient to handle stress, all right? The next key health marker, aside from waking heart rate, would be HRV. So that's heart rate variability. And heart rate variability and heart rate are kind of the opposite. So when your HRV is really high, you want your heart rate to be very low. Now what happens is a lot of times when people's heart rates, waking heart rates are very high, like in the 70s and 80s, their HRV is low. And HRV is just a good way to monitor your training. So if it's very low, if HRV is like in the 30s and 40s, your body can be not ready to train. It may not be ready to handle a lot of physical stress. And I find that the more beat up your body is and the more stressed out your body is, the lower your HRV is going to be, okay? So also if your HRV is low for a chronic period of time and it's not getting any better, that can also mean you might have something going on with your immune system or an infection of some sort, okay? So some things to consider there with that, okay? So that's waking heart rate variability, and the last one, it would be just blood pressure. And blood pressure is a very good tool to use and monitor to make sure you're in a good place to train. Because what happens is if your blood pressure is like high, like 150 over 110, that's not going to be a very good place to be crushing your body in the gym day to day, right? So you want to make sure, and this is where aerobic training can really come into play, is making sure you're doing aerobic work anywhere from 120, 130 to about 140, 150 beats per minute. And doing that on a continuum for at least a good 4 to 8 weeks on a regular basis. Like I'm talking 5, 6, 7 days a week. You may not be strength training as much, but here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna be much more efficient in terms of training once you get past that initial aerobic base, once you build that base. And then essentially you're gonna be able to bring your blood pressure down from 150 over 110 to like the gold standard, which is 115 over 75. What's gonna happen, you're gonna find your body is way better at handling stress, not only outside the gym, but inside the gym as well. Okay, so you're gonna recover faster between sets. You're gonna be literally, you're gonna be crushing it, all right? As opposed to if you just crushed yourself 6, 7 days a week in the gym, you're trying to kill yourself, you're gonna probably see less results as well. Because think about it, the body needs oxygen to transport some of these nutrients to your tissue. So the better you can actually use nutrients, the better you're gonna be able to actually build muscle and everything like that. Makes sense, right? So the next thing is you gotta look at your overall lifestyle, and it's not just all about training with stress. Like I said, it's much more than that. It's what you're doing outside the gym. So, if you're on medication, you have to understand that after one medication, once you start adding in 2, 3 medications, they start to interact with one another. Medications can deplete certain nutrients in your body, like CoQ10. CoQ10 is an antioxidant that helps with circulation to the heart, to the brain. So you have to understand that taking these meds are basically making you less efficient in terms of energy production. Okay, so CoQ10 also lessens the mitochondria in the body. So the mitochondria are the energy powerhouses of the cell. The mitochondria is where your energy is kind of burned up and made and produced. So you want to be just aware that medications, that's why we try to work with clients to try to get people off medications as best we can, right? Because you're going to be a happier person, you're going to have less mood swings, you're going to have less contraindications from these medications, all right? You also have to look at like things like kids. You know, if you have 3 kids, it's just completely gonna, literally, like, you can like beast mode it in the gym, but a lot of people are beast moding it outside the gym, right? With their kids, like they're yelling at them in traffic. Tommy, Timmy, and Jimmy are in the back seat, just, throwing, lollipops at mom at her head while she's driving. So like, if you're getting angry, if you're mad in traffic, that literally is like the same thing as training hard in the gym, all right? So you have to look at it that way as well. And then food. Top this all off with food, right? So food, if you're eating junk, if you're eating McDonald's fast food, if you're eating all this stuff, what do you think this is doing to your body, all right? Why do you think, Mary, who is 250 pounds, eats 1 meal a day, even if it is McDonald's, and that meal is only 800 calories, why do you think Mary keeps gaining weight? Because she's stressed out. Because her blood flow, everything that she has is being diverted, not towards like things like digestion and rest, but it's keeping her body, like, her body thinks it's like dying, right? It's fight or flight, right? So she's being chased by a tiger constantly. So her body only cares about survival. So until Mary gets her, figuratively, her shit together, she's not going to get healthier. All right. So going off that, we also want to talk about real quick least mode versus beast mode. So with the stress, with all this stuff, beast mode is not just happening in the gym, but it's happening all over the place. All right. So you need to really look at yourself on a continuum of really healthy to not healthy at all. So like least mode to beast mode, and look at yourself on the continuum. So some people might have to start with the very basics, like a lot of aerobic conditioning, like I touched on before, and then you work more towards more strength training up that continuum. Because ultimately, most people that are coming into Icon, a lot of people, I shouldn't say most, but a lot of people aren't in the position to kill themselves 6-7 days a week with weights. They just aren't. It's not going to do them any favors. So they need to get more of the aerobic base in. And least mode versus beast mode is something kind of we'll save for another topic. But also just some recommendations for stress management. And these are going to be very, very quick and basic. So some things that you could do is just focus on things like meditation. Download an app called Headspace, yoga, box breathing. Okay, so you can look up some of these things on YouTube as well. Wim Hof method, okay, WHIMHOF, Wim Hof. Some supplements you can add in. So if you're having trouble sleeping, some people, melatonin can be good. Also things like L-theanine, which can really calm the brain down. Glycine, which can also really calm the brain down as well. Magnesium, like I mentioned before, it can really bring down the central nervous system. Taurine, which can be great for after a workout. It's extremely cheap, 2 to 4 grams after a workout in your post-workout. Shake can actually really help calm the body as well. And just really taking time out for yourself, shutting off electronics about an hour before bed, not being on your phone, creating an optimal nighttime routine. We're gonna have another separate topic about all this stuff, but those are just a few things that you can start to implement and just start doing some aerobic work on your own, 3 to 5 days a week, 30 minutes. At the least, go for a walk or something like that, guys, and just really take some time out for yourself. But I hope this helps create a bigger picture of stress and what it is doing overall to the body. And if you have any questions for us, we're happy to answer them. But until next video, train hard, eat well, and supplement smart. Thanks, guys.